Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here from Kyiv, Ukraine. We want to welcome all of you to the program today. And the program we're having today is book review. We're going to be reviewing this book. I think they will show you right now. It's called How to Be in the Here and Now. How to Be in the Here and Now. So you will see it on your screen very soon. But we have a beautiful lady that is here to review this book with us today. So, but before we do, I just want to ask all of you to go ahead and share the message. Go share the link. Go share this message with your friends. Go share, and by tagging the people you know, just write their names in the comment section and tell them that they could come and watch How to Be in the Here and Now. And yeah, you could go and share also in the groups, in the timeline, in the inboxes, in the Facebook groups. So share, share, share. But, you know, this topic, it is so amazing. This topic here, how to be in the here and now, you cannot believe how important it is. I mean, I forgot the statistics. Either it's 90-something or % of people that I wrote it in the book, but you know, that they don't know how to be here and now. They are always flying away. This is how for you not to be living in, you know, not to be flying away, you know, not to be daydreaming. I think in English they call it daydreaming, and living in automated regime and autopilot. And that's a big problem for a lot of people. And most people who read this book, they actually say, yes, this is a problem, or this was a problem. And the book helps people to actually live in reality and to bring consciousness to the now rather than just existing. So I want to introduce you to our visitor, to our guest today, who is Mrs. Gbemi David-Lawal, right? Am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes. Mrs. Gbemi David-Lawal?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you so much. How are you doing too?
Very good. Very good. You are
Good.
And I would really like us to do justice to this book. When did you read the book?
Okay.
Now that should be Groot beloved. Ruka beloved. Yes, go ahead, please.
The first time I read the book was probably about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think I read it again. I mean, this is my third time of reading the book actually. So I read it again.
You are really serious, oh? You really want to get this thing resolved?
Yeah, because I could really see myself in it, and I actually didn't know it was a problem before. I just thought that's a normal thing, you know, to do. And I mean, when my eyes got open to this knowledge that it's a problem, then that was actually what made me to be interested in the book. Like, wow, okay, I got to read this book.
Yes. What was your first impression? Or, you know, but when you first heard that it was a problem?
Yeah, so I read one of your books, How to Regain Your Lost Years. And in that book, you mentioned that. And one of the steps that you mentioned in that book was, you know, to stop daydreaming. And I was reading it and I was like, wow, how do I stop daydreaming? Like, you know, how can I stop daydreaming? How do you live life without daydreaming?
Wow.
Yeah. You know, like I thought it's a normal thing and you have to, you know, do it. So that was the first time. And that was actually why I bought the book. That was why I went online to get the online copy, because I wanted to like right away.
Was it written in the other book, How to Regain Your Lost Years, that there is a book on that topic?
Yes. He also mentioned that, yes.
Now, why did you make that statement that how do you stop daydreaming? So it means you had embraced the act of daydreaming as normal.
No, to me, daydreaming was my life before.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my life. And I didn't know, like, how can you live without daydreaming? Like, I don't know how, if everybody, and I will tell you that, if they want to be sincere to themselves, they will tell you that, it's real, that's their life. I lost my mom when I was a teenager, and that is how I was able to survive up to probably January, February this year. And I'm talking about 20-something years ago. And, like, for me to be able to survive and not to grieve so much, not to go through pain, is to daydream. And when things don't go well in my life, that's what I do. When I feel I lose control, that's what I do, is to daydream. And, I felt, oh, this is my coping mechanism. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to look for. Coping mechanism. I thought, it's a really good mechanism for me. And that was my life.
Well, a lot of people actually use it as a coping mechanism, and but much more like an escape mechanism rather than coping mechanism.
Yes, yeah. To escape the reality, you feel that reality is just too much for you to bear, and you just create a kind of fantasy, even though you know it's not true, in your brain, and you think, and I'm telling you, I thought that was good. I didn't have a clue that anything was wrong with it.
And a lot of people say that. Actually, the statistics says only 2% of people are always, are not suffering from that, are always here and now, in the here and now. So 98% of people suffer from this. But you see, there are a lot of escape mechanisms that are existing in the world. One of them, of course, is daydreaming. One of them is drinking. One of them is drugs, alcohol, masturbation, and vanity. Vanity, like, looking into films and series and, magazines and, shopping, vanity. So, of course, if you look at it in that sense, daydreaming might not look like one of the worst, but in old age, it could actually add a very bad effect.
Of course, yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, when you started to read the book, because some people do tell me here that they were afraid to even begin to read it because they don't want their illusions to be destroyed. So what was your own like?
Yeah, because the previous book that I read kind of prepared me for it, kind of prepared my mind, and I wanted to know more about it. Initially, it's really hard to break an habit.
Yeah.
And, like what you see as like a covering, One bad thing about daydreaming is nobody sees what you're doing. It's just to yourself, and you can hide under that.
Right.
And if you're drinking, people see that and they can judge you. They can, like talk to you. If you're doing drugs, people can see that. But when you're daydreaming, it's only to yourself. And nobody sees what you're doing, and you can hide under that for a long time, and people will not know. So when I first started, when I saw it in that book, I knew I was, like it was a shock to me, and I felt like, wow. But for me, it was so important because, like, I was realizing a lot of truth, at this time, and it was so important to me to really, learn more, and I know to regain my lost years, I really have to, because that was a really, really big one to me. So, like, I really have to read this book. So that was why I went to buy it. I got it and I went through the chapter 1, and it was as if you live in my house and you're writing my
your life story.
and you know, I mean, I was reading it myself, and I was ashamed of myself, and you know, and I'm like, wow, and you know, I was just like, oh wow, this. I mean, I've been like this for a long time. Nothing cautioned me. I'd never read any book that says anything or anybody talk about it, you know. And so hearing that, I was just like, wow. So, and that is the reason why, you know, I had to like read it over and over again, because, you know, like it's just as I said, it's not easy to break an habit.
Yeah, but you know, you are saying that regaining your lost years is a big one, the book, and because it's a big topic, it's one thing that you really want to regain your lost years. Now, but the problem with that is that one of the reasons why you are feeling that urgent need to regain your lost years is because a lot of years have been wasted.
Exactly, wasted daydreaming.
And that is what I want to say, that one thing that we waste life on most is on daydreaming.
Yeah, and I really agree with you. It's on daydreaming, because, you know, daydreaming is totally different from setting goals. It's not facing reality.
It's the opposite.
Like, it's totally opposite. You're not achieving anything. You're just wasting time. And I know in this book, I know we're still gonna go there, but in the book you mentioned like how much dollars like the country loses in a year because people are daydreaming. People are not in here and now. And I just relate that to my work. And, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, so many times for me to, like, I go to work, you know, like in fantasy. I work in fantasy. I purposely shut myself off sometimes when clients are talking to me. If I feel like, oh, what he's saying is not really, I just shut myself off and I start to nod and say, I understand. And the client will think he's talking to somebody that really understands, but I'm not there.
And you know, it is the same story all over with Europeans, Americans, anybody who has read this book. And I was really concerned about the book because I wrote it in Russian. And I know that the translation was not perfect. And I was thinking, should I print it in English or not? But I decided to take the risk and print it in English because at least the message is clear. People will be able to get the message. But, you know, as many people as have read it, they don't even complain about the English because the message is so powerful and so urgent. And everybody is just saying one thing. Either they are Germans or they are English or they are Europeans or they are Americans or they are Russians. They are always saying one thing. You are telling the story of my life. I'm seeing myself in this book.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't really matter. I don't even see the English anyway. And I mean, there are some examples that you made there. I mean, like movies and things like that. I'm not a movie person, so I don't know anything about the movie. But, you know, I don't really have to know about those movies. The message is just so clear. You know, I even gave the book to my 9-year-old to read. Even my 9-year-old could understand it.
Wow.
And yeah.
Is that even so?
Yeah, my 7-year-old read it. And, you know, because, you know, I don't want them to go through what I have been through and to lose those years, you know, daydreaming. So it's better for them, you know, to know it now because it's a really common problem. And until you start talking to people, because it's not so obvious there. It's not like alcoholism or drugs that people can easily see. So this is something that is internal and personal. That's, you know, if we don't talk about it, no, you don't know that somebody is daydreaming.
How do you want to approach this? Do you want to just mention the main points you got from the book, or you would like to go chapter by chapter?
I mean, even if I go chapter by chapter, I'm still gonna be like skipping and, you know, like go here and there. Anyone is okay with me.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and review the book and let the people know what book is this. Do you have it with you or you got the electronic only?
I have the electronic one.
Okay. But have you seen the physical one?
No, I mean, the picture is there on the electronic one also. Yeah.
Yes.
The book. How to be in the here and now.
Right. How to be in the here and now. How to be in the here and now. This is the book. And for those people who want to get it, you can get it on Amazon, or you can write to DSAsbooks at gmail.com. But if you go to Amazon, you can get the electronic one immediately, or the paper one as well. So yes, let the journey begin. Some people begin to tell me that from the introduction, that they already start being ministered to.
Of course. I will agree with that. And, you know, from introduction, and I read the introduction, I went to chapter 1, and I'm just like, oh my. And I love the poem that you started chapter 1 with.
Yes.
It's funny. It's and it's funny because you read it and you see yourself in it. That's for me, and I saw myself in it. And this is, and do you know this the poem I'm talking about?
Oh yes, from Natalia.
The scatterbrain one?
From Samuel Marshak.
Yeah, I can't say the name.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Yeah, I can't say the name.
The scatterbrain one, yeah.
The scatterbrain one. And
but you will laugh and it will make you laugh and cry at the same time.
Exactly, at the same time, because I look at my life, and we all have excuses for the reason why we are not in here and now. We have excuses. Oh, I'm busy, I'm working, I have kids, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Those are our excuses. And, you know, and we're not focused. We forget things, and I'm aging, you know, I'm not young anymore, I have responsibilities, I have all these things that I'm doing. And, you know, I read this book and I'm like, no, I don't have any excuse here. It's just a problem that I need to deal with. So, and scatterbrain, you know, woke up and, you know, like grabbing the wrong things, putting the clothes on in the wrong way. And it was so funny because it went on a train ride. That's actually the one it went on a train ride.
Yes.
Like it wasn't there. And it went on the train ride for 2 days and it wasn't there. I know people might be like, oh no, I've never been on a train ride for 2 days. You know what? Pastor Sunday,
yes,
when I was still taking train, I have missed my bus, not because I was sleeping, and my bus stop, not because I was sleeping. Because I was right there in the train, and I missed because I was daydreaming.
Yeah, yeah.
When you mentioned this here for this guy that went on this trip for 2 days, I'm like...
Because it was just daydreaming.
It was just daydreaming. And, you know, so chapter one talk about the manifestation. How does it manifest in our lives? Yes. You know, how do we see it? How do we know if you're not being in here and now? And, you know, like forgetfulness, not being organized, you know, it's one of those things. You mentioned you mentioned that story, and the story, oh my gosh, the story of Valeria.
Yes.
The story of Valeria. You know, the reason why I say oh my gosh is, you know, people, especially here in North America, people leave their kids in the car. They forget their kids are in the car.
Wow.
And yes, you know how many kids have died?
My God.
Yes.
That is a serious one.
Those people living in North America can testify to this. They leave their kids in the car. There was a story that how many years ago now of a guy that picked up was supposed to drop the child in school in the morning, took the child, went for a meeting, forgot that the child was in the car, and went for this meeting for the whole morning. The child died in the car.
Yeah, because suffocated.
Yeah, and because of the heat, it was in summer. Ooh. Because of the heat. And what happened is we all live in autopilot. I'm telling you, I drive my kids to school in the morning, and so many times I don't even know how I get to the school. I don't know how I get to the school. I just, because it's the same route, and we all go on autopilot. We just go. And you have everything that you do the same way every day. You get used to it, and that's what you do. And that is the same thing people that, fall a victim of all this kids' death in the car. And it's a reality, because it was different from his daily morning routine. He forgot that he has the child in the car. Oh. I remember I went to work one day, and I had to tell my boss, I said, you know what, I have to go home because I think I left something on the stove.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I left something on the stove. And those are the manifestation. And when you talk about it, and people will be like, oh, I'm getting older. It doesn't start at 40. It starts from when you're young. For me, it didn't start when I'm 40. It started when I was little, when I was still in Nigeria, when I was in primary school. I can't remember how many times I left my school bag at home. And I'm going to school. And I'll get to school and I'll say, where's my school bag? And that is one of the examples that you made in there. That's the story of another lady. Yes. Because she's living, the son of that. And that's the reason why I get my kids to be reading it now, because I know my life, the way I do things, will have affected them in one way or the other.
It's a brilliant decision to let your children read that book.
Yes, so I let them read it, and before we used to have maybe Bible study program and everything for the family. So your books is what we use now. We all read it and we come together, and that's what we use as our Bible study tools.
Yeah, that because it's already explained and it applies to life.
Exactly.
And it's practical. It will make them human beings.
Yeah, and the way you write, Pastor Sunday, the way you write, you make, pardon my language, you make the dumbest person understand.
Yeah.
No matter how that person may think, like I'm not smart, I'm not, you are going to understand it. And, with all the practical things that you put at the end of it, to be able to get it to be part of you. So you're not focused on just selling a book, you're focused on changing people's lives.
Helping people.
Yeah. So, and I really, it makes your book really easy to read. And,
And it's so sad when people are saying, oh, he's selling his books. I say, oh, if they had known. It's a pity they don't know. Because if they had known that.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. When people say that, oh, is it free? I get so disappointed, and sometimes I get so mad. Like, seriously? Is it free? I understand if people don't have money, but I'm telling you, if you have money, your tithe, you have money to give your pastor to sow seed for every year you have lived on earth, you have money to buy clothes, you don't have money to buy books, to read, to really impact, to sow into your own life. This is sowing into your own life, I look at it, I buy my books from Amazon. The next one I'm going to buy from you directly because I think it's cheaper. But I really don't mind how much I buy it from Amazon, because you know how much I spend on doing nonsense, how much I spend on, like buying things that is not even relevant, that doesn't have any value into my life, that is not going to do me any good. So why will I say, when people are saying, oh, he's selling his book, I'm always thinking, well, they really don't want the truth. They really don't want the knowledge. And when they are yet. There's nothing you can do about that. They can come online and continue to listen until they are ready to embrace the truth. And it's okay. We're all at different levels. So I'm glad. I'm not a reader. I don't read books until I met you. I don't read books.
Wow.
My husband is trying to get me to read books for a long time, but I don't. But when I got your book, I laid my hand on one of your books. I couldn't put it down, and I was until I finished. And I got another one, and I got another one. My husband was surprised that I'm reading. I said, you know what? I have, maybe the reason why I don't read is I have never seen any book that really, focus on adding value into my life.
I developed my own style of writing, entirely different. That when you write Dr. Sunday's book, when you read Dr. Sunday's books, you will discover that no books like this, unless people have trained who are now writing like that. Otherwise, you will not see books like that. You will be surprised. You would sometimes. There are two secrets to my books. Number one, I'm targeting pictures. I want you to be able to see. You are reading like this as if you are seeing pictures. Number two target, I want you to experience it as if you are experiencing a movie. Is that the thing you feel?
Yes, that is really true. That is really true. Like any of your book, I've read like a couple. Any of your books that I pick to read, and I'm always like, okay, do you know? And I can actually see your focus.
Yeah.
When you read a writer's book, you can actually see what the intention of the writer is.
Yeah.
Just trying to push something out there, or is he concerned about people? When I read you, I see your concern about people. I see that you want it to impact to people's life, because in one book you get so much that in other books, they just take one thing and they put a lot of irrelevance, and you're reading the book and you read chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, you're still not getting anything.
Yeah.
You are like, okay, so, and if you, at the end of the day, for me, I get frustrated, and probably that's the reason why, I wasn't reading books. But when I come in contact with your books, it was a totally different story. Because from introduction, you're learning. From introduction, your life is changing. So, yeah.
In the introduction, there is a quotation that I put there, which says that the sleep of the mind gives birth to monsters.
Yes, yes.
So, which means daydreaming, when you are not using your mind is sleeping. You are off. The dream like that, daydreaming, the sleep of the mind, when you put your mind to sleep, it will give birth to monsters. So that thing, those stories you are saying, that somebody left a child that died in the car, that is a monstrous act, and it's not because somebody is evil, it's just because the mind has gone to sleep.
Yeah, and that's very true. That is really true. And for people working I work in healthcare, I'm a nurse. And for people working in healthcare, are dealing with people's lives. And this is my thought as I was reading your book.
Okay.
We have I have a friend that went for surgery, and maybe a scissors or something like that was left in. Yeah. And and I was wondering, how did this happen? Because in the OR, you count all the instruments before and after surgery. So if you count the instruments and it's not the same as you counted when you started the surgery, you should know that something is wrong here. So, and I was reading your book and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, the doctor is daydreaming, the nurses there are daydreaming.
Wow.
And not only that, like in a lot of things, we've had some incidences that happened when people are given wrong medication, and when people, you know, like really mistakes like that. And if you look at it, how did this happen? You know that the person is not in here and now. It's a routine. You know that the fluid that you want to give your patient is in a white bag, and you just hang the fluid. But it's a totally different fluid entirely.
Wow.
Because you are not conscious of, it's just a routine. It's just not being conscious of what you are doing. So, you know, the monster that is giving birth to is destroying people's life, destroying the life of the person that is doing the act, and destroying other people's life. Can you imagine how many people are being affected? Definitely, the person that is perpetrating the act is being affected, because you're going to realize it and you're going to feel so bad. So many people will go into depression because of the mistake that they made. And also, you think about the family, if it leads to death. Now, think about the family that is being affected, the young person, the children, the parents, you know, like, so it's so important. It's something that is so important. We don't focus on it. And that's what I realized reading this book, that, wow, it's an issue that is really important. And how come we don't talk about it?
Yeah, you don't even see books on it or anybody talk about it.
No, and you know, it's so funny, because at work, each time we have any incident like that, what we try to do is we change the system, because we always say, oh, it's really hard to change people. It's easier to change the system. You know, that's the thing. So, you know, and that's what we're going to change the system so that people don't make this mistake. And, you know, but it would be really nice if we have like a seminar or in service about how to be in here and now, how people can stop daydreaming.
It means that this book actually needs to be taught and be read in every organization, in every structure, you know, because this happens everywhere human beings are. So it's supposed to be a compulsory class or training that everybody is supposed to go through it and receive.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would say from elementary school, like even young kids, from, you know, young kids to the CEO of a company, everybody
suffers from it.
Exactly. And I mean, I don't want to jump, but when we see the
implications
of this act, it's so devastating, it's so serious, that it's something that needs urgent attention. That, like I would say, if you're on this platform, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm just gonna say something. When I watched your series on the Thinking series and the Truth series,
yes,
there is no way you can really understand those series, or you can implement them in your life if you don't read this book.
Oh, yes. Yes.
There is no way you will be able to understand the Thinking series if you don't read, if you cannot be
in the here and now.
Because that's like the foundation of it. And also the series, because one of the reasons why people don't want to be in here and now is because they don't want to tell themselves the truth.
Right.
So how do you be able to implement the truth if you cannot think, if you cannot be in here and now?
Wow. Any other thing you want to say in that chapter 1 before you like to go to chapter 2?
Yeah, let's go to chapter 2. I think, you know, the chapter 1 is, you know, just talk about the manifestation.
Yes, how to identify it.
How it's manifesting in our lives and, you know, in our daily lives. And chapter 2, it said the implication of being in here and now. I mean, I know, and that's why I said, you know, like, I'm gonna just be like going in between all these chapters as we go. So chapter 2, the implication. And okay, and it was in the chapter 2 that you talk about the story of Vasilisa or something like that.
Vasilisa, yes.
Yeah, they're Russian names. I don't know how to say them. That left a son in school.
Yes.
So she drove to school to pick up the son, looked at the son, and drove away. And that is almost the same thing as those people leaving kids in their car. You know, and I'm telling you, like, I really see myself in this because when we got married, we didn't have kids on time. And when I got pregnant and I was gonna have a first son, my fear was that one day I will go to the mall and I'm gonna leave my son there because I'm gonna forget that I went to the store with.
Wow.
Yeah, because because I go out and I leave things, like I forget to take things, and people around me are so used to it that they'll be like, oh, when she comes here, she's gonna take it anyway. So it has become like a usual thing that I don't see it as a problem anymore. Yeah. So and yeah, it is in chapter 2. And I love this part. I'm gonna talk about this chapter 2. That's when you talk about the difference between human being and animal. Oh, this, I'm telling you, it's just so, because when somebody says you're thinking like an animal, or your brain is like an animal, you feel offended.
Yeah.
We feel offended, right?
Yeah.
We feel offended. But when we look at it critically, we see, like, if you're not being here and now, it's like an animalistic.
Yeah, because you are functioning based on instinct.
Instinct, yeah. And
only animals are meant to function by instinct.
You know how many people function by instinct? And I'm telling you, even the people that rule in the country, and I would say maybe some of our leaders in Nigeria, they are ruling by instinct. It's all by emotion, and when if you ever see like a normal campaign in Nigeria, and the reason why people are supporting somebody, it's because it appeals to their emotion, not because he says something and they can think about, they can like be right there, and think about every word. If we can think about every word that this person is speaking out, we will know that this is not a good leader.
Yeah.
And the same thing in our churches. We go there and we turn ourselves into the level of animals, and what we do, we're not, even though we're right there in the service, and that is the reason why those pastors, they play on the emotion, because that is what they want to. When you are not there, when you're not thinking about what they are saying, you're just acting on emotion. You cannot analyze their words. You cannot analyze the preaching, and that's what I mean. Look, the whole country. So that is actually one of the consequences of this. The whole country is in jeopardy today because the majority. And I know in the book you said about 97%.
Yes.
I would say in Nigeria, that statistics is not right for Nigeria.
Oh.
I would say maybe 99 point something.
99 point something.
I said it's 99 point something. And I'm telling you, and even the so-called the smart ones.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean the educated one, because I have the opportunity to talk to some people that they are highly educated, and you're thinking that they will be able to reason along with this, but you will discover that no, instinct that is working.
Wow.
And just, yeah, and people come to attack you not because they listen to you to really analyze what you're saying, but they jump on. It's the instinct, like, oh, he's talking about my pastor, and the instinct is I just have to attack him. They're not being there. They're not, if they are there, they're thinking they will be able to gain something and realize something like, oh, maybe we need to look into this.
Wow.
Okay.
You are so right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean that in chapter 2, that's when you talk about the conscious living.
Yes.
And you make an example about this street dog, and it's the same thing. About I can't remember I can't remember what the name of the experiments. I did it in high school. Like when you jingle the bell, the dog will come. When you feed the dog and you jingle the bell, and you feed the dog and you jingle the bell and you feed the dog, and what happens is anytime the bell rings, the dog comes.
Yes.
So have the food or not, it starts salivating, it wants to eat. So that's instinct. So when we function at that on instinct at animalistic level, then we're not being here and now. We're not following, like the presence of what we're doing at that particular time, or what is going on, or what we need to like concentrate on at that time. Okay?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Because actually, when we don't use our mind, we are only alive for the time and the minutes when we are using our mind, when we are consciously active. When we are doing things automated, autopiloted, in an instinctive manner, or reflex, or stimuli, we are actually just living like an animal. We are not alive at that point.
Yeah.
Some people are only alive an hour in a day. Some people 20 minutes in a whole day. They have 24 hours and they're only alive for 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
Yeah. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's in chapter 2 where you talk about some people, they died at the age of 25, but they don't get buried until they are 75.
75. That is Benjamin Franklin's quote.
Quote, yeah. I think that was in chapter 2 that, and I'm not sure whether it's in chapter 2 where you talk about, like the productivity, when we're not living a conscious life.
We cannot produce.
And, and this, I met you, or I started coming online in December. So I started reading probably January, February.
Yeah.
Between that time and now, and I laid my hand on this book maybe about roughly 2 months ago, the first time. And I can actually talk about my productivity between that time and now.
Huh.
Between when I didn't know anything about this and now. Because what happened is we have 24 hours in a day. When you're daydreaming, the fantasy is really sweet. And you don't know when time flies, and you are there, daydreaming, not achieving anything. What happened is I used to think, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I have 3 kids, they're young, I'm working, I'm this. That used to be my excuse. Yeah. But when I started following the principle here, I'm telling you, my productivity at work, it's totally, I cannot even believe it myself.
Wow.
That, I'm telling you, I can't even believe it. The first one, the first one, when I went back to work, we were in a meeting, and I was able to contribute in the meeting because I was right there. I know this is so funny, and people might be like, maybe I'm the extreme example of not being here now. I'm telling you, I was able to contribute, and people were ready to listen to me, and they were just like, oh, wow, you know?
Like, what happened to this lady? So she woke up.
What happened? What? I mean, it's sad to know that I've been sleeping.
Yeah.
So, and when you sleep for, let's say, 10 hours a day, and this is not like real sleeping in the night. So you slept in the night, now another sleeping, you know. So how many times do I have to work? How many times do I have to do something?
To even leave.
To leave, to really leave. Yeah. So, and what do you expect from somebody that is not living? Too much. So the problem, it's really, really huge. Okay, and I mean, I'm just gonna read my notes here. So if you don't use your head, you are as good as an animal.
Right.
That's what I down here. And yeah, and you said if you don't live consciously, you are dead while you are still existing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but don't you find sometimes people say that for Africans that my language is too direct, is too straightforward, that is too like straight kind of, that you are saying it the way it is. We are not used to that. You are supposed to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, and Pastor, we're not used to that, and that is the reason why we're where we are today. That is the reason why we're where we are today. Because we're not lovers of truth. We don't want people to say it as it is. And I always tell people, we all run to North America, we run to Europe. Why? There's something that is making the system to function here. I remember when I was in nursing school here, and we had to do something on critical thinking. Pastor Sunday, I didn't understand it until I read this book.
Wow.
I left school maybe 10, 11 years ago. Yeah, 11, 12 years ago, actually. And can you imagine not getting it until I read this book? So we are far, far, far behind. So the best thing is to talk direct and say it as it is. If you did not say it as it is, you just be like them.
Yeah.
We cannot continue to do the same thing the same way and expect to get a different result.
Yeah.
Get the same result. If people continue to live their lives, if we continue to live our lives in one la-la land, and not being conscious, not following through what is going on, we're dead. We're just like existing. And the situation of the country or the whole continent is just gonna be the same. Nothing is gonna change. And for us to see effects in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, we have to be able to be in here and now, to be able to process what is going on, to be able to focus. Because the next book I'm going to read is How to Keep Your Focus. So my son is reading that right now. You know, how to, to be able to keep focus.
Beautiful. You really want to conquer this problem for forever.
Forever, Pastor, forever. Because this problem has really robbed me a lot of things in my life. You know, like I know I have a lot of potential. I know there's so many gifts and expectations that God has for me. But because I was daydreaming, I was just existing, I wasn't living. And I was just like thinking I'm going to heaven, my focus is heaven. So let me just daydream through life.
Oh, wow.
as I'm born again, so they drink through life and go to heaven, and that's all. That is actually a horrible way for anybody to live.
Yes.
That is.
But the most painful part of it is that most people who live like that are not even aware they are living like that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that is it. They're not aware that they are living like that, and also they are not. They're not ready. Some people, I mean, when you see it as a problem, that's when you want to change it. I didn't see it as a problem.
Yeah. So you are not even challenged to change it because you didn't see it as a problem.
No, I didn't even see it as a problem. I thought it was a good thing.
Wow.
Okay. You want us to go to
chapter 4,
chapter
right?
3?
Chapter 3 or chapter
3.
4?
Chapter 3.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Okay, this is, I think chapter 3, I think I'm going to combine chapter 3 and 4.
Right.
Because that is when you talk about the mental illness.
Oh, yeah. Those are the consequences.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that. I work
but if you think about it, everybody talks about that, but they are not just aware of what they are talking about. People say, it is age. When they begin to forget things and things like that, they begin to say, it is age, it is age. That's exactly what they are talking about. They just don't know how to put it.
Pastor Sunday, now, I mean, at my age, I think a lot better, and I think my brain is sharper than when I was in my 20s.
Wow.
So it can be, oh yeah. I mean, do you know how long it takes me to read a book? The first time I picked, your first book that I picked, it probably took me about 3 weeks. And when I'm telling you, when I know how to be in here and now, and I started working on it, I read the next one in days.
In how many days?
4.
Wow.
4 days. I read another one in 2 days.
Wow. And
I'm not reading for the whole
day. That is the power of how to be in the here and now.
I know. And I'm telling you, I still do courses online. Before, for me to study, I will study the whole day, go to the library, study and do this. Now, because when I'm reading, I'm right there. So it shortens the time I spent reading. And I'm able to assimilate a lot. I'm able to, do a lot. So, I mean, right now, I do so many things. I don't tell people that I'm busy because I don't see that I'm busy. And I do them well because I focus and I live in what I'm doing.
People always ask me the same question. How come you're able to do so many things? How come you have time for everything? They don't know the secret is to be in the here and now.
You see here and now. It makes it so, because what happens before is before I'll give you an example. I'm reading a book, I read the first chapter. I read through the chapter and I don't have a clue about what I read. So I have to go back.
Yeah.
And I read it again, and by the time I get to another page, I discover that I didn't even know what I read in the other one. Then I go back. So you know how much time I've wasted doing that. If I focus and I can be in here and now, it takes me a really short time to read that book, that same book.
Yes.
So, and I mean, I'm going to talk about this chapter 3 and chapter 4. Excuse me. When you link it to schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, dementia, and all sorts of mental illness.
Yes.
I never saw it that way. You gave us the definition of schizophrenia, and I am thinking, oh wow, not to be in here and now is actually a mental illness, because you are taking yourself away from reality. So you're creating a totally different reality. You're not in this reality.
Yeah, you are living in a
That
parallel.
makes it delusional.
You are living in a parallel reality, and that's where we get
Reality.
double personalities from.
Yes, and you know, I mean, there is actually a mental illness they call multiple personality.
Yes, and
And you
it
know,
starts from there.
exactly. And I was reading this book and I was thinking about it, that, you know, these people with multiple personalities, maybe they started from daydreaming,
Yeah.
and they create. And actually, research says that for people that have been molested in their young age to be able to survive, they create a different world, and that they focus on a different
Reality.
I mean, daydreaming, yeah. So anytime that memory wants to come back, they start to think about that. And what happened is, by the time they are in their teen years, they have this multiple personality disorder. And so right now they can be themselves. Another time they can be somebody else. You know, like they're so delusional, and you know, so I'm like, that opened my eyes to be able to link all these things. And also the forgetfulness. We still don't, I mean, we talk about dementia, we talk about Alzheimer's. And in your book, you talk about, you know, like the research on people that are educated, you know, like that they are not so to that Alzheimer's, like uneducated.
People who use their mind actively.
Use their brain, yeah. So, and what happened is, when your brain is like any other muscle in your body, when you exercise it, you know, it gets stronger. If you don't exercise it, if you don't use it, there's something they call atrophy, you know, like weakening or losing of the muscle. And the same thing with our brain. Actually, research also says, you know, before they used to say, if any brain cells dies, you know, that's it. For the people that have stroke, once they have stroke, you know, like, you just need to like manage your life. I mean, your life from there. They don't recover. But now they know that brain can actually, you know, like when one neuron dies, it can connect to the other, to another one. That's where therapy comes in. So we've had like cases of stroke patients that are able to recover completely because they go through therapy. So that means the brain cells, when you use your brain to be in here and now, you exercise your brain. When you exercise your brain, the possibility of having dementia or having schizophrenia, you know, later in life, you know, is so slim. Because each time you're developing another neuron, So the same thing, you know, like for people that are not using it. When you don't use a muscle, what happens to it? Atrophy.
Atrophy, yeah.
Yeah. And it withers away. The same thing with the brain. You don't use your brain, that, you know, then you start to kill your brain cells. And that's, and I know some people may be thinking, oh yeah, I go to school and I'm using my brain. No. And you talk about like people can be educated. And I mean, when I get to that place, I'm gonna quote it very right. That people can be educated and not be using their brain. Like you can have like a professor, you can have like maybe a CEO of a company. Now I'm using my own words now to describe it. You can have like a CEO of a company, like, you know, hire people there, but, you know, really don't use their brain. They're not in here and now.
Yeah.
So yeah. quote that somebody is successful, that somebody, successful in quote, doesn't mean that person is being in here and now. You have to be able to use that brain, to be able to activate your brain.
Yeah.
And in that chapter.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to say something, sir?
No, go ahead.
Okay. In that chapter 3, you make a quote of Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla, yeah.
And that says that modern scholars think deeply instead of clearly.
Say that again.
Modern scholars.
Yes.
Think deeply instead of clearly. So there's a difference between thinking deeply and thinking clearly. When you think clearly, the clarity is being here and now.
Yeah.
When you think deep in La La Land, in La La Land. But when you are able to think, clearly, you are able to, that is when you can analyze. And for you to be able to analyze anything, you have to be conscious of, what is going on, your environment. Thinking about. So, and I wrote it in my book here that one means that if intelligent or highly educated people can also fall a victim of not being in here and now. So, because, I know some people may be thinking, I'm highly educated, I can't have Alzheimer's, or I can't have dementia or anything like that, or I forget things because I have so much I'm doing in school and things like that, and that's why I forget stuff. No, you can be smart in school and not be in here and now. And when I was in school, I said I wasn't in here and now. I got really good grades, but I had to put in a lot more effort to be able to do that.
Waste a lot of time.
Waste a lot of time. Like, in a lecture, if I have 4 hours lecture, I'm only there 1 hour.
Wow.
3 hours, I'm not there. And, that used to be, my reality. And I didn't think anything was wrong. I just thought, I'm just not that kind of a person that can be in a lecture for 4 hours.
Wow. And so many people are still living like that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And, okay, and I'm just going to quickly mention something, link it to something here. When you talk about, why is it that we are doing this? Why is it that we are not being in here and now? And you talk about when the focus is on us. So, for example, if I'm talking to you now, and if all my focus is on me, and it's on, and I focus like everything on me, what happened is I am just gonna go into the La La Land and not be right here because I'm thinking about, is my hair looking nice? Is my eyebrow nice? And just put the focus. And before you say, and another thing you mentioned there is, before you say anything, I am thinking of how to answer instead of me to listen.
Yes.
To be in here, or to be in here and listen to what you're saying.
And not to think parallel.
Parallel, yeah. Thinking about, okay, how am I going to answer this? Instead of, first of all, understanding, being there and understanding the question that you're going to ask.
Some people don't even know they are not supposed to practice that. Thinking parallel. They are supposed to, some people are so confused. That's the only way they know to think.
That used to be me. That used to be me. And you're talking, I am actually thinking on, okay, what's the answer? I'm not paying attention to what you're saying. I'm thinking about how to answer that question.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was wrong. I actually thought I was smart. I thought I was smart doing that. Okay. And chapter 4 talks about what causes the unwillingness to exercise the brain. So we're not exercising our brain. So, and okay. Yeah, and that is when you mention, you know, it is chapter 4 where you mention the Alzheimer's, and you talk about the brain, the astronauts in the brain, you know, that they have to consciously exercise to be able to keep their muscle active, because of, you know, when they come back to Earth here. But, you know, like, does it read the circumstances there doesn't want them, you know, like they have to like consciously, you know, do that to exercise, you know, their muscle. And sir?
They have to consciously exercise their muscles and their brain.
Exactly, and their brain. And so also for us here, you know, like we need to, it has to be like a determination for us to want to exercise our brain. And there, that is when you make mention on what we need to do, how to exercise our brain. So in chapter 4, that's when you make that example of activities that we can do to exercise our brain. And you talk about, you want me to go into that?
Well, maybe not in details, because let them get the book and read it.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So yeah, so they can actually go into the book. So you can you can buy the book, go buy the book and read it, and you
No,
will
they
see
can actually read it for free. The book is for free if they register for Kindle, Amazon Kindle, or Kindle Amazon Unlimited. I mean, Kindle Unlimited on Amazon. So all my books, 80% of them are free over there.
Yeah, Kindle Unlimited, and I think you only need to, you can get up to 10 books a month.
Yes.
Yeah, for free.
Yes.
Okay. So should we go to chapter 5 then?
Yes, please.
Okay. So in chapter 5 says here and now. That's when you give the definition.
Yes.
And the definition, the concept, and the advantages. And I know we've mentioned some of the advantages of being here and now, you know, as we're talking, talk about the productivity, you know, you increase the productivity, your productivity, you're able to achieve a lot more within a short period of time instead of, you know, wasting time. Excuse me.
Yep.
And I like something that you mentioned in this chapter 5, and I put it down, that we all have the ability to be in here and now. And that point is really important to me, because what we think, or what I used to think, is that, oh, I forget things, maybe that's just me, you know. And I think some people are really smart because they are created to be smart. You know, God gave them that ability to be smart. And I am just me. I'm not given, you know, that ability. And also I look at, you know, myself, oh yeah, I'm busy, I'm taking care of this, I'm taking care of that, and I don't have that. But, you know, here, and I put this one, I put an asterisk on it, actually, you know, like this one was the thing that really jumped on me on this chapter 5, that we all have that ability.
Yes.
And tell everybody that if I can do it, you can do it.
Yes.
Because I was really lost in the dream world. Really, really lost. And I mean, now I can really say I see like huge difference in me before and in me now. You know, am I there yet? No. But every day I work on it, you know, to make sure that I get there. I get to the point that, you know, I want. Okay. And
chapter 5.
Okay, we're talking about chapter. So yeah, and you one of the things that you said is the rubber band. You know, to use the rubber band.
Right. Those are the exercises to keep yourself
Yeah,
alert.
and to be like snapping it. You know, like I mean, I'm just like going through all the places that I put asterisks. You know, so I didn't do the rubber band. I didn't do the rubber band because like I'm able to do something totally different that helps me, you know, like when I'm wondering, I know how to bring my thoughts, you know, like back. So chapter 6 talks about how to be 100% in the here and now. That's the principle of full concentration. That's what I put there, the principle of full concentration. And you talk about the 3 types of presence. Talk about the physical presence, selective presence, and here and now. Yeah, you know, like I like this one because before I used to say I have selective hearing problem because I always like, like I hear what I want to hear, what I don't want to hear, I don't hear it.
But that's your choice. So, it's your choice now.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you know, I make a choice not to listen to some things. So when some people are talking to me, I just like, you know, go to another world and just not listen to that. And you said in here that, you know, the best, you know, to really, the best thing is to be in here and now. Whether you are in a place physically, you may be in a place physically and not even be there at all. Yes. You may be in a physically and select some and you know be in few
scenarios,
in few scenarios, or you can be totally present.
Yes.
And I think is so he said what can prevent you from being in here and now, and we mentioned the parallel thinking, multitasking, and inability to see value in other people, and self-focus. So those are the things, you know, like when we ask ourselves, why am I not being in here and now? And I think one of your, I don't know, maybe it's one of the things you did recently, or maybe it's one of the ones I watched on YouTube, when you have the ability to multitask and still be in here and now for each scenario. But for some of us that are still just learning, we can't do that. Multitasking is just gonna take us, you know, like everywhere. You have to be able to like focus and master this act of them being here and now before you can say you want to multitask. But when we start to multitask at this time, you know, that will prevent us from being here and now. And also inability to see, and I think that is part of my own problem, inability to see the value in other people. So when, you know, some people are talking to me, I shut myself off because I don't see anything in what they want to say. Not because I've listened to them. Maybe I listened to them before and I feel like, they're not smart enough, and I just shut myself off, you know. But, or maybe I'm at work and I feel the person that is talking to me has mental illness, then I'm like, what's he gonna say? So, you know, just want to talk. So yeah, you talk and I'll be like, I understand, you know, but I'm not there, you know. So, I mean, that is preventing me from being in here and now. And also, we talk about a self-focus, you know, looking about our physical appearance, you know, focusing on yourself. And it's I can't hear you, sir. Oh, okay. I can't hear you. Maybe I'll continue. And you also talk about how to listen. So in chapter 6, about how to listen and to speak in here and now. for us to be able to listen and also speak. So I I find it really, really like interesting and amazing. Like, it's possible I love talking. I love talking a lot. So, and so many times, like I'm talking and I'm like not being in here and now like going all around and talking about different things, not focusing on the topic. So, and this, and in chapter 6, you actually taught us how to speak in here and now.
Yeah, because can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. It was my battery that was down.
Oh, okay. So, chapter 7, talk about what can help to be in the here and now. Be focused, block distraction, use the power. And I want to quickly mention something here in chapter 6 before we go to chapter 7. You talk about, being here, and I think that's in chapter 6 actually. You talk about being in here and now. It's about picking what you want to focus on. You pick the focus. You maintain the focus. So it is not, and I'm not really sure, but I think it's in chapter 6 when you mentioned is it consecration camp or something like that?
Yeah, it's consecration camp.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of this guy.
Victor. Yes, Victor. You can just call him Victor.
Yeah, okay, Victor. And it didn't,
it's called Victor Frankl.
Frankl, okay. He didn't focus on what was going on around, but he kept his focus on, seeing himself preaching, and seeing himself like addressing audience, outside. And what happened is there is a temptation in, okay, how is this different from my daydreaming? You understand what I mean?
Yes.
But, it was really, I got it really, really clear that, there is totally a huge difference between setting a goal, setting a focus, and daydreaming.
Yeah, because when you set a goal, focus, you are intentionally
planning.
Yes.
And have strategy in how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
So, and I think, sorry, sir.
Yeah, I'm just hearing you.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'll just quickly go back to chapter 7 because I know I want to mention that, but I can't remember which chapter is in. And that's so in chapter 7, you talk about what can help us to be in the here and now. So here we're now learning, how to be in here and now. So the first thing is to be focused, to have a focus. You know what you want to focus on, and you keep that focus. And there's some exercises there, and when people read that book, they can more of that. And you talk about blocking distraction. So all these things we have to do it consciously, to consciously blocking distraction, like any interference that may come. Isolating our thoughts, isolating what you want to focus on. And also the next one is use the power of intention. Be intentional, be conscious, this is what you're gonna do. Okay, so now let's go to chapter 8. Okay, give me a second. So chapter 8 is talking about what is our reality. Oh, okay, I think it's in chapter 8 you mentioned the Victor, the consecration camp.
Yeah, Victor Frankl.
Yeah. So it says, being in here and now is not always what is happening around us, but what we choose to be thinking about. And that's when you mentioned what happened in the concentration camp. So we have to be able to manage our thoughts and our feelings. So what happens is we go beyond, we let our thoughts or we let our feelings dominate. We focus so much on emotion, what our feeling is, that takes us away from the reality. And another thing I liken it with, when we talk about the self-focus point, is if we pity ourselves. For me, if I pity myself, if my focus, looking at myself and pitying myself, pitying at my situation, that is when I want to go into the la la land. That's when I don't want to be in here, or I find myself derailing from being in here and now.
Just to escape the pain.
Yes, yeah. To escape, yeah, exactly. To escape the pain. To escape the pain. So, but if we keep we focus. And I don't want to bring another book into this, but if we keep our focus and we're not focusing on ourselves, it helps us to live in reality, to live in consciousness. Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay, so it said self-pity is for those who have not learned to control their mind.
Yes.
So points that I put there, you self-pity yourself. It's when you have not learned to control your mind.
Yep.
You have not learned to take control of what you think about. Your focus will be on yourself. And yeah, and we have some exercises. And the best thing is to actually pick this book and read it and read it and read it. I'm still gonna read it again. I'm not done reading it.
You have read it 3 times already.
Yes.
And you want to still read it again. Let's show them the book. And do you think the book should be in every family, so that, like you are doing with your children now?
Yes, Pastor. I think every family should have this book. And if your children can read, let them read it, no matter how young they are. What we do in my family is we all read it. We have it on our computer, and we read it, and we use it as our Bible study tools. So, and when we come together as family to do Bible study, we just let everybody share what they learn, what they are going to change. So, what are you going to change, and how are you going to change it? So, we are now accountable, even with the kids, we are accountable to one another. So, when I, see my daughter doing something and I, make it be, they're still young, and it's not that they can't make a mistake, but I want them to reflect on that mistake and just be like, okay, so why did I do that? Was I present at that time, or was I just cruising through life? So when they reflect on it and they know they made that mistake because they weren't conscious of what they're just just doing it autopilot way, then you now see the consequence of not being in here and now. And what are you going to do differently? So, we go through that, and we go through not only this book, we do other books also that I have read and I know is going to benefit them. We do it the same way.
What?
So I would say,
yes, go ahead.
I would say for everybody, even if you've not bought any of DSA's book before, buy this one. Because you know what it's gonna do? It's gonna open your mind. You are going to regain. If you have lost years, you lose something, you're gonna regain it back, because this is gonna help you in every at work, in your day-to-day relationship with people. Is gonna help, and you yourself, you find you love yourself. I love my life a lot more now, and it's because I'm able to read this book. That's one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons.
Wow. So what do you think, what would be your, because we're about to go off now, but what would be your own personal assessment? Are you grateful that this book is written?
Wow. I am really grateful. Not only this book, I am grateful for all the books that you have read, that you have written, that I have read.
How many have you read? 2, 3, 4?
Oh, I told you I'm not a reader, but you made me. I've read a lot. I would say maybe 10, 12 now.
Do you have a list, or you have your computer there, or your Kindle, or your...
I have a list, but I have some.
Oh, you have some. Show us. The one you are showing us now is called Kingdom.
The Kingdom Driven Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
What will you say about that one? One word about that one.
Oh, wow. This is excellent. Excellent. Like my focus, the reason why I actually bought this one was because I registered for
mentorship.
The mentorship. And I am like, whoa, thank God that I am. I will say, please, everybody, go and read this book. It's going to blow your mind away, because for me, I will talk about me. I understand now what the kingdom is. I never knew until I came on your platform, until I got to your platform, actually. I did.
Okay, the next one.
Okay, the next one is how to regain your lost. Can you see it? How to regain your lost years.
Yes, but you are holding one just now before that one.
Oh, like opportunity.
Opportunity, yes. What will you say about that one?
Oh, in fact, life is not a mistake. It's an opportunity in everything that you see. What we call problems, what we see as problems is actually an opportunity. The opportunity in everything. And very soon I am gonna do a review on this, and I'm gonna have a testimony on this.
Oh, amen. Amen.
And I will wait until
if you are ready, our staff are hearing you now. They will invite you back soon.
Okay.
Next one.
And the essence and value of life. This is actually the first one that I read.
But that book, people are saying it shocks them. That it's like shocks them out of their reality, as if they are waking up to life.
Oh, wow. When you say that wisdom, power, it's not
and wealth. Wisdom, wealth, and power.
And power. I never heard that before. We all strive to have power. And when you say, oh, okay, maybe power is not good for, the holiness and thou Christian, we say wisdom. When the Bible says wisdom is the principal thing, we quote that scripture. And say, oh, wisdom. And I read this. We already, this one was, mentorship,
a Bible from mentorship, also, right?
Yeah, and it was a Bible study tool also for us in our family. So
okay.
And this.
Oh.
Wow. This is excellent.
How to create core values in a child.
Core values in a child. how do you create core value in your child when you don't have value? You cannot create, if the mother or the father, the parents don't have values, how do they create it? And if we cannot create values in our children, how do we create values
in the society? Yeah.
In the country. So I would say, like for everybody, and not only because you have children, even if you are single, you need to, because you first of all need to know how to create value in yourself.
Okay, next one.
Okay. The creative and innovative power of a genius. And you see, I still have my wow. This, I mean, all your books are mind-blowing. And I have some that I bought, I have not read. All the financial books, I have the financial books. I've not read.
Like, just show us, if you have them, show them to us.
Okay. How to build a secured financial future.
Okay.
I've not read.
Okay.
But I have it. Stop working for Uncle Sam.
Yes.
I picked this one. I started reading it, but I stopped to read something else. And I wasn't intimidated. That's not the reason why I stopped. But you need to grow into it. I need to grow. Yeah, that I need to grow into it. And also I want to develop my spiritual life to really, I said it on your platform one time that I am starting from -5.
Yeah.
So I don't think I should go into this now. But my husband is doing this one. He's read that one, and there's some I have online that I've read. I have them on the Kindle something. Yeah, I don't have the hard copy.
You have done a good job.
Thank you, sir.
You are a strong worker and a persistent and a focused person. I'm very encouraged by you. And I thank God that you are able to discover this gem and this gold for yourself. Thank you for coming on today, and we will look forward to seeing you come to do more reviews.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad. Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful.
Thank you for being with us today. In the next 25 minutes, we are going to come back for our series, How to Know God and Be a Friend of God. Thank you so much. Peace.
Bye, sir.
Bye.